Hi everyone, this is Jared, AC7WH, Backyard Ham Radio. I wanted to give you all a quick update on how things are going with my Palstar LA-1K amplifier. So this is mostly going to be about the timeline and what I know so far. There's not a ton of news yet, which is kind of interesting. Makes me wonder when I will have that news. So shortly after I find out, I'm hoping to let you all know too. But let's backtrack for a bit. So approximately a year ago, in January of 2025, I had placed the order for my brand new Palstar LA-1K amplifier. I received it thanks to the delivery from FedEx on February 3rd of 2025. So now that is just barely over 1 year. So just several days ago, it was the 1-year anniversary of me receiving that Palstar amp. Well, if you've been following my channel recently, you have noticed that in January of this year, 2026, my amplifier had a failed output transistor. So what I did is I contacted Palstar and I sent an email to one of the primary, I thought, email addresses that you can find online on the Palstar website. And I waited and waited and I didn't hear anything. Well, evidently that particular email address is not monitored very often. But thankfully, just a few days later, I had called and I spoke with someone who was very nice, evidently a receptionist, and she was able to inform me of, who might be a better contact and that they could reach out to me through phone or email or whatever and we could communicate more. But even though I called during what was listed as normal business hours, the technicians had all gone home. So with that, I was able to then send out another email a few days later because I didn't hear anything from them. I had requested contact, but that's okay, stuff happens. And I didn't, wait very many days, but I thought, okay, I need to get this ball rolling because the 1-year warranty is going to be expiring in a few weeks. I need to get things moving here. So I sent an additional email and I was able to hear back from one of the technical engineers. And he had previously been very helpful to me when I was trying to decide which tuner to get from Palstar. And I had eventually settled on the HF Auto tuner from Palstar and am generally pleased with that. I've had some really good results. And anyhow, back to the amplifier. So this particular engineer communicated with me, was very helpful, just as he was in helping me decide on which tuner to get, and was very informative on details back when I had contacted him about 15 months ago, so a few months before I ended up getting the amp and the tuner and so forth. Well, fast forward back up to this year. So this particular engineer had helped me do the troubleshooting and so forth, and sure enough, we were able to find out that it was the output transistor that was the issue. And so I packed up the amp and sent it out through FedEx, and that Friday it arrived in Ohio near where the Palstar factory is. And it was right about the time of this big winter storm that had been going on, So with that, there was a request that was submitted to FedEx to postpone and hold that delivery. And so it instead was scheduled to be delivered on the following Monday. So originally it arrived on January 23rd of this year, 26, and it ended up being held off instead of the next business day, which would have been Monday, the 26th. It was delivered on Tuesday, the 27th. And then the engineer emailed me and let me know that it was in their shipping department, and once it was unpacked, it would be brought over to him. Now, that email was on January 27th. Here we are on February 5th, And I have a feeling, knowing how helpful that engineer is, that something good is going to be happening pretty soon. But once I have that information, I will look forward to sharing it with you. All right, well, thank you, everyone. This is AC7WH 73.